Hello YouTube. In this video I'm going to teach you how to program for white collar workers. In the description will be the video for blue collar workers. I will continue this series and I want to cover military members, I want to cover students and any category that you think is relevant and englobates a large portion of the population. So today we're going to talk about office workers, people who for the most part don't work physical jobs. That includes me. Meaning that we're going to be sitting for large portions of time, between 7 and 8 hours a day. And that means that we're extremely sedentary. As compared to someone who works a blue-collar job, we are going to have to face different challenges. They have to worry about the fact that their body might get overused. They have to handle volume coming from all different sources that have to manage in their training. We don't. For the most part, a white-collar job is going to be the best job for someone who wants to solely focus on something like powerlifting or bodybuilding, because you can use all of your physical energy towards it. But that is going to also involve certain strategies to implement. First off, just because you're not being physical does not mean that your body is not being taxed. Meaning that if you sit at a chair all the time with a poor posture, if your shoulders are rounded forward all the time, that is going to have to impact the amount of weight you can lift in the gym and how comfortable you're going to be. Because you can carry over bad posture to your lifting form and end up developing injuries from it. If you're constantly rounding forward, you're going to pull with a rounded spine, you're going to squat with a rounded spine. That is going to make it worse. If you want to learn how to fix your posture, injury prevention playlist, I have 2 videos about it. Follow the advice, you'll be fine. That's one thing. Don't think that just because you are comfortably sitting at a desk, you are always going to enter the gym fresh. Because physically you're dealing with that, and then mentally you're dealing with the stress. And stress can be a good thing because you're going to relieve it in the gym, you're going to completely empty your head, and you're going to be able to enter your family life, your personal life, quietly, without all of that added negative energy. But it can also be a detriment. You might enter the gym with a negative approach. Your weight selection might be all out of whack. You might not be focused. The stress can sometimes aggravate certain injury, especially tendonitis. Anything tendon related, the more stressed you are, the less sleep you had because you had to finish a project, the worse it can be. So keep these in mind because these are factors that need to be taken into account as you train. Yes, you're in a privileged position to give your all in the gym, but it doesn't mean you're at 100%. You're never at 100% and you know it. So, that aside, what do we need to do in the gym as people who don't really walk around or use our muscles throughout the day? First off, you need to break the sedentary trope, the sedentary habit that you've developed. You need to get going. And so I would highly encourage people who don't get it from other portions of their days to try and do some cardio that involves walking, that involves getting some paces in. It can be a stepper, it can be doing something that is going to involve some laps around the gym if your gym has it, anything that is going to get you actually moving around. And I do think that certain calisthenic movements can have that role, meaning that pull-ups, push-ups are not technically having you rebound around, but you're still moving the body through space. And it might sound stupid, but I think that it's a quality that you need to retain as a human. Because if you always are at a desk, then you go to a gym and you deadlift, squat, and bench, you're going to start to lose it. And I mean, lose the ability to do these things. And I know because I did that. I stopped doing a vertical pose for a long time, and when I got back to it, I was terrible because my neurological adaptation was gone. So don't let that happen to you. Those lifts are going to perfectly complement the rest of your program. They're going to get you active in terms of athletic abilities, and there's no downside to it. So do it. Plus, if so, for one reason or another, one day you can't train, if your work has a gym, or even if they don't, bring a pull-up bar somewhere, do some pull-ups, do some push-ups in there, and that is going to actually get you to do something on that day. The second part is going to be, and that is, I think, the best part about all of that is that you're going to be able to do a lot of work because your recovery windows are astounding. You can recover all throughout the day pretty much. As I said, yes, Office jobs come with certain stresses, but they're not physical stresses. So the ability of the body to recover from the damage done in the gym is going to be optimal as long as you can feed yourself, which I hope that your job lets you eat at your desk. So you're going to be able to also do a lot in terms of program. If you have the ability to, you can really do as much as you want. When you look at, and I don't know if I'm going to have this video come after or before, most likely I'm going to try and organize it so it's after, but if you look at my video about the recovery part, you want, for most people, to have the volume that you do on a certain day for a certain muscle group to be in between medium recoverable volume and maximum recoverable volume, because that's when you get the max gains. But for people who work blue-collar jobs, that's not necessarily true, because they need to make sure that if something occurs and they have to move something or be very physical, the level of the pot needs to be lower so that they never go above and they never get injured. For you, you can always shoot for that. You can always do the max amount of volume that you can recover from, because you know that nothing is going to make this level rise. It's going to always be stable. So you have more control over it. You have more control over the environment and therefore over the recovery aspect. And that is going to be critical because it might make, as I said, white-collar jobs the most adapted to that type of pursuit. So, or at least if you're not a professional, of course. If you're a professional and you only lift all day, that's even better. But the second best thing is a white-collar job. So that's something to keep in mind. You can really push the bill. You can really do as much as you want in the gym because you don't have any other obligations. And sort of out of topic, but that also applies to people who are athletes and who lift on the side. For athletes, it's the same. I'll make the video about how to program for athletes. You have to keep in mind that you'll get volume coming from different sources than just the gym, so you have to be careful. And the last portion for people who have office jobs is going to be the pursuit. So pretty much what you decide to do, because you're going to have a much cleaner separation between the spiritual wood and the physical wood. Whereas someone who works a blue-collar job, they're intertwined. But for you, at the office job, you're being purely brainy and cerebral, and at the gym, you're being purely physical. And that also means that there is more of a specialization aspect that is going to come into play. You're going to have more room to do that. Someone who is a soldier, it's going to be tough to be a bench specialist, for example, because you're a soldier, you need to be able to run, to climb, etc. For you, it's up to you. You can do really whatever you want, because you're going to have the ability to be physical entirely in this. But the reason why I bring that up and the reason why I also told you to do something else at the start is because I would advise you not to be completely trapped into that. Even if you're the big powerlifting type, try to take some hikes here and there. Even if you're purely into bodybuilding, try to find that one pursuit, that one strength thing that is going to be fun for you. Because you will find that if you let yourself get completely captured by that one aspect, if something happens, if love for that practice dies, for example, you're going to have a tough time to recover from it. Meanwhile, if you let yourself have some pockets of freedom outside of that constant pursuit of bodybuilding, for example, you're going to keep it fresh. Don't let the gym become your second job, because you're already working for what I assume is going to be something that is not your greatest passion in life, or if it is, congratulations. So let the time that comes after it be free. Just because you have the ability to make it something extremely serious, because you have all of the recovery in the wood to do that, doesn't mean that you should. And to finish with templates and things like this, you have freedom, as I said. For the blue-collar people, I told them shorten the sessions, be more minimalistic, be more intense, give yourself recovery windows before you have big moving days. For you, it's really up to you. I would say that you're the type of person that can beneficiate from working out 4 to 5 to 6 times a week. You don't have to work something like one lift a day because you have a lot of time to do that. Of course, you can do it if you have a social life on the side, but upper lowers for you, gentleman splits will actually be great. Push-pull leg 2 times will actually be great. It's all up to you and what you decide to do. So I'm going to leave you with that. If you're white collar, if you have a specific question, let me know in the comments. Have a good day.